can excite a student's mind more than believing that your study can make a profound difference in your life? Some research by two leading cognitive neuroscientists suggests that that is so. For this study, the two researchers developed a breakthrough piece of technology that could instantly read and record the electrical charges of brain cells working on any number of things, but their interest was to study the charge from brain cells engaged in creative thinking. They first located a puzzle that could only be solved intuitively, couldn't be solved logically, could only be solved intuitively, and they directed the study participants to immediately speak the answer when they knew it. And they recorded both the overt physical reactions of discovering the solution to the puzzle, as well as the cellular activity of the brain. And they report that time and time again, the sudden arrival of the insight needed to solve the puzzle had a very obvious effect on the body. People would sit upright, as if compelled to, or their eyes would open wide, as if once they were blind, but now they see. Or they'd even say, "Aha," with a wonderful smile on their faces. And that sudden insight was electrically charged by an intense burst of brain activity picked up on this electrocephalograph, this piece of technology that they had developed that sat like a soft helmet on the participants' heads. Immediately before the participants started to communicate the answer, this technology recorded a great spike of gamma rhythm, which is the highest electrical frequency generated by the brain. Gamma rhythm is thought to come from the binding of neurons, as cells draw themselves together into a new network, which is then able to enter the consciousness. Considering the intense flash of the gamma rhythm, it's as if you really did have a hot idea. They laid their research over work previously done, and that led to the realization that just before that insight flashes its electrical charge, a small section of tissue on the surface of the right hemisphere of the brain suddenly became much more active than usual, generating its own charge and its own surge of blood. There's not a lot that's known about this lobe. This section of the brain has been linked in earlier studies to a certain sort of pattern recognition, like finding the themes in a novel that you are reading and the metaphorical understanding behind what you are reading. What they've also learned is that as study participants begin searching for the insight that would help them solve the puzzle, the areas of the brain that read the data from your senses, the visual cortex, for instance, that records what you see, that those portions of the brain go silent, so the brain isn't distracted from your creative work. And oftentimes we'll close our eyes to concentrate, while your brain closes its eyes when it's in preparation for this creative insight. As I read this research, it says to me that the changes that occur in your brain as your mind engages in creative thought, that these changes aren't momentary, they aren't temporary, but rather the more you use your brain, the more networks you build, the more you exercise it, the more network connections form, allowing you to do more accomplished search and discovery, and they're there to serve you the next time you need them. You can improve your intuitive muscle. And I hope you do by watching these videos, but I also hope you do by filling in the gaps that we leave for you in these video presentations that we're making.